Hello, good morning. It's May 25, 2026, and let's do garden tour. It's already end of May and the weather is still fluctuating from cold to warm, so the plants are struggling. Lots of plants are affected by spider mites, powdery mildew. We have here our kale, our sacrificial plant, and we have two varieties of tomatoes in this area. This, by the way, this is in the front garden. We have our raspberry Liana tomato, and we also have our San Marzano tomatoes. San Marzano tomatoes are sweeter, they are good for canning, they are good for making spaghetti sauce compared to raspberry Liana tomato, which is a little bit on the tangy side. It's a little bit sour, but it's perfectly delicious when combined to these other varieties of tomatoes. We have our calabasa, sweet mama kabucha. We have two plants in this area and each plant has a fruit in it. They're pretty small and I'm starting to wonder why these calabasa here are pretty stunted. At the back of our tomatoes, we have our Nagasaki long eggplants, and if you remember, we heavily pruned these three eggplants in this area because it was severely infested with spider mites. And as you can see, they are starting to produce new healthy leaves. In this spot, we have our avocado, and it's dead already from continuous rain. So the pots or the soil has been continuously wet, and the avocado doesn't like saggy soil. So they're dead. It's dead, I mean. But I planted some plants in here. We have our slicing cucumber and two Roma tomatoes. Next, under our rose tree, we have our Hill's Jumbo cantaloupe, and we already have one cantaloupe that's growing nicely. We have four plants in this area, and I'm gonna let it crawl in this under the rose tree spaces. We have also few fruits that I manually pollinated, and hopefully the bees will also help in pollinating some of the fruits in here because lately I've been seeing a lot of bees activities in this area. So bees are very helpful in this with regards to our fruiting plants. We also have here two varieties of eggplants. These are Nagasaki long eggplants, and they are starting to produce some flowers. This is another variety. I thought this was a Black Beauty, but its fruit are pretty small. And I checked the label and it says these are Asian eggplant. We have a lot of grasshopper, baby grasshopper that has been feasting on these leaves, and I've been constantly eradicating them, shooing them away from our garden. As you can see, the fruits are pretty cute, they're pretty small, but it's our first time planting those in our garden. Pigeon peas, still they're growing pretty nice. And we still have more Hill's Jumbo cantaloupe in this area. In manually pollinating, we'll just get a female flower. It's a slender flower, and we'll just gently rub on the female flower. The female flower has a mini cantaloupe in it. That's how you determine what's the female flower. In the front still, we have three San Marzano tomatoes in this area, and as you can see, they're loaded with tomatoes. A lot. We're gonna be making a lot of sauce. We also have few Hill's Jumbo cantaloupe that are not doing so good. I don't know what's wrong with these plants, but hopefully they'll recover. And this one, watermelon, I think it's dead already. It's been overwatered, the soil has been constantly wet. On top of that, the weather has been cold these past days. This is our super sweet corn plant, and most of the corn is developing some ear. So pretty exciting. Beside the corn, we have few kalabasa, our sweet mama kabucha. They're growing nicely. Still no female flowers from these plants. In this other raised bed, we have also few sweet mama kabucha, and some of the plants are developing female flowers. I'm just waiting for those flowers to open up so that I can manually pollinate them. We also have our potato in this 15-gallon pot. The leaves are already dried. I already turned off the irrigation, so it's time to harvest these potatoes. Still in the front garden, on the other side, we have tomatoes in this area. These are San Marzano tomatoes, and there's loads of tomatoes in these plants. We have two Nagasaki long eggplants in this area that we keep overwintering, and they are producing lots of eggplants. These are also San Marzano tomatoes, and all the plants are producing tomatoes. Here in the garage, we have our bok choy, and these are already ready for harvest. So we'll cook this tomorrow. Here on the back at the side, we have our eggplant that are infested with spider mites. This is a zucchini plant, and there are baby female zucchinis that are coming out. We also have few taro or gabi in this area, and these are ready to be harvested. This week, we will harvest this taro and we will cook laing. So watch out for that video because we will be cooking those taro. This is a Thai chili pepper, and they are producing some flowers. As I've said, the weather has been pretty weird and the plants are being infested with spider mites. It's been hot, cold. This is a corbachi pepper, and we have here few peppers in these two plants. We will add this pepper when we will cook laing. And this is a raspberry Liana tomato, loads of tomato as well. Beside the tomato, we have our Armenian cucumber. We have also some Hales jumbo cantaloupe. And of course, we have our garlic. These garlic are pretty stunted. They're not growing big. And as you can see, they still have very small bulb. These cucumbers are infested with powdery mildew, and we will just remove the affected leaves later on, discard it in the trash bin, and hopefully it will not spread. And we have here a few Armenian cucumber that are ready for harvest. We'll just harvest this one and leave the other one, give it a few days. This is a slicer cucumber, and there's also some cucumbers that are ready to be harvested. For this cucumber, we are eating them fresh, we are pickling them, or we are making some cucumber salad using Greek yogurt. In this 27-gallon container, we have 4 bell pepper, king of the north sweet pepper. And most of the plants are producing already some bell peppers. And as you can see, the first plant or the 2 plants are infested with spider mites. Zucchini, we have few zucchinis in this plant that are ready for harvest, but we'll just give them another 2 to 3 days, let them get bigger a little bit before we can harvest them. And we will cook zucchini pasta alfredo with chicken, so watch out for that video. Still garlic, our silver white soft neck garlic. We have sweet potatoes that are growing pretty nice, and we have our Hell's jumbo cantaloupe in this area. It's utilizing this trellis to climb, and we have few cantaloupes that are already pollinated. Here we have our eggplant, and we also have our kalabasa, sweet mama kabucha. We have 2 plants that are spreading to the left and right, and both plants have 1 kalabasa in it. We have also our garlic here, same, we're waiting for them to bulb up before we can harvest. And we have our butternut squash. Our relatives came last week and they harvested some butternut squash from these plants. Some of the female flowers are not being pollinated because by the time the flower open up, we don't have a male flower to use to pollinate them. Still butternut squash in this area. We have 1 there. The rest our relatives harvested it. And we have our tomatoes. These are Roma tomatoes. We have 2 in this area that are growing pretty healthy. Loads of tomatoes. We're waiting for them to ripen up before we can harvest them. More Roma tomatoes. We just recently transplanted this, I think 2 to 3 weeks ago, and they're already growing pretty healthy. 2 zucchinis that we recently transplanted, and we have few bush beans. Thai chili pepper, they're starting to produce some flowers. And in this area, we have few vegetables, starting with this raspberry Liana tomato. And we are harvesting the ripe ones, and that are not so ripe, it will just ripen in the counter. We have sweet potato, we have 2 bitter gourd or ampalaya, and we have here zucchini. This is a San Marzano tomato, and it's loaded with tomatoes. In this area, we have our bitter gourd or ampalaya. We've been harvesting bitter gourd from this plant. We are pickling them, and they're not so bitter. We have Hell's jumbo cantaloupe, we have our asparagus beans, and we have here also watermelon. This watermelon has been producing female flowers already, and we've been manually pollinating them. So hopefully we'll be able to be successful, and hopefully this plant will produce some watermelon fruit. Next, tomato, raspberry Lana tomato still. We have here cucumber, slicer cucumber. We have one fruit in that plant. More asparagus beans, and this is our Roma tomato in this area. We have more slicer cucumber plant, and they are producing lots of flowers, lots of male flowers. And we have our asparagus beans or utong. In this spot, we have Roma tomato. The problem with Roma tomato is they are easily affected by blossom and rot. Once they encounter low water source, the fruit is easily affected by blossom and rot. So I'll make sure that I'll be watering this plant every day, because the irrigation that I put in these containers are obviously not enough. So we'll just remove all those affected and we'll keep watering them. Raspberry Lana tomato. We have here few tomatoes that are ripened. Some tomatoes are eaten by caterpillars, just like this one. So we'll just throw it away in that compost bin or in-bed vermicompost. At the back of the tomato, we have our bitter gourd, and we have been harvesting bitter gourd from this plant. The fruit is not that big, and it's not that bitter as well. We have here our cilantro or coriander that has a beautiful flower, and we are waiting for them to produce some seeds that we can use for next planting season. And then we have here our 3 pigeon peas. Potato, we are waiting for the leaves to dry up before we can harvest the potatoes. We still have potatoes from our previous harvest, so we'll just leave it here. Next, we have our strawberry tower, our ever-bearing strawberry. Most of the strawberries are already producing some fruits, and this one will ripen in 3 to 4 days. The kids are pretty excited to harvest these strawberries. More eggplants. And we have also here more Roma tomatoes in these pots. Next season, all the Roma tomatoes, I will be planting them in the ground so that it can source more water in the ground. Because as you can see, a lot of the fruits are affected by blossom and rot. It's just a waste. We will be throwing this away in the compost. We'll be removing all those affected. Maybe we will prune the plant. We'll see. We'll just give it a good soak of water and make sure that every day it's being watered. But if you compare on this Roma tomato in this another pot, this one is not affected by blossom and rot. Next, we have also Roma tomato in this another 27-gallon container. And some of the fruits are affected by a blossom and rot. Again, we'll make sure we will be on top in watering these plants every day. Because the problem in blossom and rot, the main problem is underwatering. Here we have lots of plants. It's looking like a jungle already. We have our gourd or upo that we heavily pruned. It's starting to produce some female flowers. We harvested a lot of upo or gourd from this plant last month, and we've been eating it every day, sharing it with friends and family. We have two varieties of tomato. This is a raspberry Lana tomato that are loaded with tomatoes. And we also have our Roma tomatoes. 4 plant each in this 6x3 raised bed. The soil in these raised beds are very fertile because we are constantly adding fresh compost, and each bed they have vermicompost wherein we are putting bokashi food scraps, and the worms are eating it, they're loving it, and in return they are producing some worm casting that is very good for our plant. Next, we have bell pepper, King of the North sweet pepper in this 5-gallon container. It's loaded with peppers, and this one we overwintered from last season. We have also peppers, Corbachi peppers in this raised bed, and it's start to produce some peppers. We also have 2 here that are covered by the tomatoes. So hopefully when we remove these tomatoes, they will start to get bigger. In the second raised bed, we have 6 apricot zebra tomatoes. These are indeterminate and they are growing endlessly until they are destroyed by frost or until they are killed by pests, and they are producing a lot. I mean loads of tomatoes. And these tomatoes are pretty good because they're not that big, they are sweet, they're best eaten in this condition. When you harvest them not so yellow, they are sweet, and it's very good for snacking. If you mix it with other tomatoes when we are cooking spaghetti sauce, it makes the sauce sweeter and so delicious. There's loads and loads of tomatoes. Nice. Another variety of tomato here is the Roma tomato, and we also have another raspberry Lana tomato. And lastly, our chayote. We planted 2 seeds and they are spreading throughout our trellis. And this is our harvest. We have few tomatoes, cucumber, and of course our potatoes. Thank you so much for watching, and may God bless you always.